What's up, everybody? I'm back. I've been over here just studying, trying to get this information down so I can present it to y'all properly. I want to make sure all my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted. So, I hope everybody having a wonderful day today. Everybody, make sure you do the best you can to have a good day. But let's get into it. Before we go deep into this information, we're gonna start off like kind of at the end. Right here, we got a document. I'm not quite sure where this document came from, but it was brought to my attention, and I presume it was leaked. But I can't say for a fact whether it's a real document or not. But I find it interesting. And the thing about this document is, it points out and alludes to the information I'm gonna be presenting in the future about how America was hijacked and stolen by a confederacy that was completely against the will of God and the children of God. And it's time that we set this right. Like, so let me say this in the beginning, and then we're gonna get to it. Everything that I'm doing is not by my own will. I'm doing this in accordance with the will of the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Jesus Christ. They came to me, they told me to present this information, so this is what I'm doing. So let's go. You know, we got an official document right here, Unified Maine Common Law Grand Jury. Check into that, see if that's official. But let's get into this. Civil orders from July 4th, 2014. Issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Services, the Province Marshals, members of the American Bar Association, and the Armed Services. These organic United States of the Union, these organic American states of the Union known as the United States of America, major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoints General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chief of Staff with full support. Okay? Let's check into this General Carter F. Ham dude. Okay, we just gonna keep going. Check into that. Check into his authenticity if you following this information with me. By the way, like the channel, subscribe, add, however it go over here on this Facebook page. And support the channel, man. I got my Cash App down there. But let's go. Should it become necessary to support commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies? See, that's interesting. Let me go check into what is a commercial mercenary force. We can look into that. Go over here and do a little Googling. Let's see what the exact definition of commercial mercenary force is. Whoops, spelled that wrong. Let's look at it. Wikipedia. A mercenary, sometimes known as a soldier of fortune, is a private individual, particularly a soldier, who takes part in a military conflict for personal profit, is otherwise an outsider to the conflict, and is not a member of any official military. That's a mercenary. All right. Get back over here real quick. So, necessary to suppress commercial for sale mercenary forces under the guise of being federal government agencies, included but not limited to the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, so that would be included in a commercial mercenary force. The Federal Management Agency the Federal Emergency Management Administration, FEMA, commercial force. The Internal Revenue Service, a commercial mercenary force. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm, that's the ATF. So according to this document, these so-called government entities are really just actually commercial mercenary forces. I'm going to pick one of them. Okay, we're going to do the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco. Let's go check into that. They call that the ATF. Let's find out when the ATF was founded and what's the background of the ATF. All right, the ATF was just founded in 1974. When and why? We could go here. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives was established as a separate component within the Department of Justice, pursuant to Title 11 of Homeland Security Acts of 2002. It's interesting that it says that it's a separate component. That's that separation that the other definition spoke of. But let me look a little bit more into this. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, Explosives, also referred to as BATFI, is a domestic law enforcement agency within the United States Department of Justice. So is it separate or is it within? Its responsibilities include investigations and the prevention of federal offenses, including unlawful use. Okay, so it seemed like the whole point is to regulate against our Second Amendment right. Not second, hold on. Our amendment right to pack guns. So it seems like their whole purpose is to diminish that right. But let me look a little into the founding. 1972. The ATF was formerly part of the United States Department of Treasury, having been formed in 1886 as the Revenue Laboratory within the department's Bureau of Internal Revenue. All right, we're going to have to get a little bit more into that. But that's interesting more than anything, it's that date. Once I get into, well, I kind of like put together a timeline. And it's ranging from 1954 to 2014. And it goes through individual moments and times and point out different moves and strategies that was applied against the indigenous people of America in order to disenfranchise us from our birthright and what rightfully belonged to us. So this is what's sticking out to me, these dates of 1886, these dates of 1920, 1927, when they begin to initiate the reclassification of the indigenous people from the children of God to black, to nothing. In particular, this date right here, 1933, that goes right along with the Walter Plecker era, if you've been paying attention to any of my previous videos. Well, all right, let's get back to this. We're just skimming through it. All right, should it be necessary? All right, we got that. General Ham shall assume immediate command and control over all armed forces services owed to the United States of America. After I get through going through this live, pardon me for a second, I'm going to put a link to this information in the description. So if you want to check it out yourself, do that. All right, General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owed to the United States of America, major, stationed in North America, and shall join them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic. So, doing my research of this particular document, what stuck out to me was it kept on saying major and minor. Let me find an example of minor. So I was trying to figure out what's the difference between major and minor as far as the classification of the United States itself goes. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. There we go. Yeah, here go an example right here. No enforcement upon any American state or American citizen is owed as a result of any act of Congress. Operating as the sovereign government of the United States of America, minor. That's what I was pointing to in particular. What is major and what is minor? What is the difference between those two? So that was part of my research. But y'all bear with me. We just getting into this, but I felt like it was important for me to start at the end and then work our way back to the beginning. But major and minor. So major would be the American state citizens, which would be the indigenous people, I see. And minor would be the minorities, or those who came in under immigration, Ellis Islands, and such other things like that. But all right, let me get back to it. I'm hoping I'm making sense to y'all, but just bear with me. All right, any cost or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All efforts shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever within the United States of the Union without exception. The Guard is uniquely enabled by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 states, 50 organic states, for the purpose of securing the lives and the property of the American states and the American state citizens. The Guard is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. Okay. Okay. If required to take field position, the local commander shall make every effort to communicate the basis of authority and the reason for their presence on American soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and a widespread understanding of the usurpation and acts of fraud which have led to any conflict. All parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government and the limitations of its authorities and their own obligations to act in favor of the organic states of America. So let me just kind of sum this up because I'm just reading on and on. From what I've gathered so far, the organic American states of the Union, known as the United States of America Major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoints this guy right here, Carter F. Ham, to lead a grand Republican army, right, to suppress commercial mercenary forces that are operating within the United States Major. So this letter right here was presented to Obama by Pope Francis in the year 2014 in the hopes to let the occupiers know that it's time to cease their occupation. So apparently, let me see, how would I say this? Apparently, a system has been set up to ensure that this cessation occurs. It is led by this General F. Ham dude. All right. Let's go a little bit deeper into this. Let's go to the next page. Okay. Wait a minute. Let's start right here. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under General Order 100, known as the Lieber Code, extant from the pen of the last Republican last Republic president, Abraham Lincoln. That's really important too. Abraham Lincoln was the last official president according to this document. We will be getting into that much more later, but right now I'm just trying to skim through this document, get us started. Let me see if I can get it to work right. It's everywhere. All right, that page. But yeah, if you get a chance, man, check this document out for yourself. Because I'm not sure if I'm being clear or not. So take this information, absorb it, and see what your own brain outputs. Because, like I said, I'm not here to put my own personal opinion in it. I'm just here to present the information and let the public be the judge of whether all this information I shall be presenting is official and true, or rather, I'm just losing my mind or whatever. But through my research, I've come to the conclusion that the truth shall be made obvious, and through that truth, we're going to be offering. Well, not we. Through that truth, the Father and Jesus is offering grace and redemption for those who want a chance to get right with God, But right now, we're just taking it easy. We're going over this little document. I'm working out all the little bumps and kinks in my act, a little nervous. But I just hope I'm making sense. All right. No executive order or no orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama, pretending authority of the land of the American states while operating as President of the United States Corporation, nor as the President of the United States of America Minor, are owed any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or ordinary. Let me just go through this like this. So to me, that's telling me that once this letter was received and put into the hands of Barack Obama, immediately the American federal government became defunct. They no longer held any position of power, and they was no longer backed by any military forces, none of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or ordinary. All plainly stated grants and contractual authority evidence in the Constitution of the United States of America remain in place, subject to good performance of the accompanying obligations and treaties. So it seems like the Constitution still stands in place, but the military is no longer here to back the federal government. So if the military is no longer backing the federal government, that kind of explains why when Obama what was that dude named? Gaddafi. When Obama invaded Libya in Senate, I remember it was a big deal, and they was explaining how he didn't have the authority to bomb or invade Libya, and they made a big deal about that. It was a while ago, but reading this information, it kind of points that out to me and makes that make much more sense. Well, let me keep going. I'm rambling. Mr. Obama is the president of a governmental services corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on their payroll. So the president is merely a governmental service corporation under contract to provide services to the organic states. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary representing the United States of America Minor. In neither of these capacities is he allowed any granted authority to impose upon American citizens, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil. So that go to those mercenary forces again, the ATFs, the Homeland Security. technically, this paragraph
I ain't
saying
writing shit.
those things are invalid.
You don't know how to talk to people.
But yeah, we're gonna go get a little bit more into this later. I just wanted to come present this information so people can look into it for themselves. I'm gonna come back and we'll go over a couple of more paragraphs in here, but for right now, I just want to let y'all know that I'm beginning to do this show daily, and I'm gonna present this timeline, and hopefully, I can present it in a way that makes sense to the people. I don't want to come off as presenting confusion to the people. So y'all bear with me while I work out these kinks. Put like on that video, subscribe, add, however it go on Facebook. Hit that Cash App, support me, because I'm going to be presenting a lot of great information to the people. And until then, Focus Daily. Be back, y'all. Peace.